Wow, I'm in Brawlhalla already. Tuesday night duelist mentoring stream. I'm here with Zezetel, and today,
Ohio.
Ohio. And today we're going to do something very special. We're going to teach you all how to buff tigers. I mean, play Kara. And it's going to be awesome. So we made
Same.
a special budget deck just for you. Zeze, do you see okay? Tell us about
Yeah.
your budget deck.
So yeah, the deck it's basically a lot of like cards who have like opening gambit, and the stats are not as good, but you don't care because it's Kara, so the stats are good. Um, and it has a lot of card draw because you always want to have 6 cards in your hand, so your Bloodborne spell generates a lot of value. You also see like almost no spells for like the same reason. Um, and it has tigers, obviously, for lethal. 2 tigers that gets buffed like 2 or 3 times. That's a massive amount of burst. Um, so yeah, one thing to note here, I have both Snow Chaser and Crystal Cloaker. Some people like to run only one of them because then you get more consistent draw with the Cryogenesis. Like you know what's coming out, so there is an argument for that. So you might replace one of them. Also, on the card draw, we have Sojourner, which is like a very good card, right? Like a 2/6 that draws cards pretty amazing. But it can get dispelled, so it might be worth if you have the card to replace it by Spelljammer or by Alkian, because if they silence that, you already got value out of that. But that's more expensive, so I didn't put it in. Uh, and well, with the expansion coming up, you might want to add Burr, like the little owl, because it's like a very good turn one drop. Maybe instead of like the Crystal Cloaker or the Snow Chaser, one of the two. Um, and you also might want to add the Snow Rippler. That's a 3/3 mana that puts a random battle path when it damages a general, just because it's card trial. I don't actually know if Burr and Snow Rippler are good in the deck because, well, we couldn't test it yet. We can test it in
Doesn't
like a
exist
few
yet.
hours. We can test it, not yet. It are definitely ideas I'm going to try out. Um, so yeah, it's basically regular Kara, but then with Sojourners, and the other things are pretty regular. Um, some people like to run Zenrui, which is pretty good, obviously, but it's also pretty expensive. So you can play them, but they're not like a auto include by any means. Like this deck, except maybe for Spelljammer and Kian, is like a completely competitive deck.
I do have one question about a card choice. Uh, Taking Aspect of the Fox over Cryogenesis, do you just feel like that's more reliable to control trouble minions? Or do you think, I think I said Cryogenesis, I meant Chromatic Cold. Do you
Um,
think Chromatic Cold could be put in place of Aspect of the Fox?
I think Chromatic Cold could be put in, yes, but in place of Ephemeral Shroud, and because the goal of Chromatic Cold is not really to kill a minion most of the time, it's to silence the minion. And yeah, sometimes you kill something with it, but aspect of if your opponent plays a big body, aspect of the fog deals with the big body. Chromatic Cold doesn't. So it's. I mean, you could definitely play it, but I'd replace Ephemeral Shroud then. The reason I put Ephemeral Shroud is because, well, I can buff it. But there is an idea to be said to play Chromatic Gold to deal with like 4 winds you can't reach, or Mechazor you can't reach, or like stuff like that. But yeah, against Mechazor you can just like smork them out before they get Mechazor. Or also a thing you can do with this deck, because there's a lot of cheap minions. If they put Mechazor in the corner, you can like you keep Ephemeral in your hand the entire game, and then you play like all your cheap minions, so you can still silence it in the corner, even though you're like somewhere completely else, because you might like make like a chain of cheap minions. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I don't think it's aspect of the fox, in my opinion, just deals with completely different minions than chromatic old.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very good explanation.
Cool.
Are we ready to see some gameplay?
I
Sure.
think so. Makes sense to me. Let me pull up the game for you. So we got a bunch of games from ZZ's replays that I pulled up, and I'm gonna probe your brain a little bit, and you're gonna tell us why you do the things that you do.
Okay. So playing versus OOHB, the Magmar. I replaced Cry Justice because I had 2, Crystal Cloaker because I had 2. I only one. Um, so yeah, I have Crystal Cloaker is like a very good opening in this deck. It's just the best turn 1 play for player 1 probably, but we see that he has like the best response to it. So here I'm probably gonna play Blazehound. I could deal with the Primus Fist, but it's not really a threat, and Blazehound like makes a threat. And then I replaced the Primus Fist here because 2-drops aren't really that great. I replaced Last because I drew a card, so it was not a misplay for once to replace Last.
True.
So yeah, he deals with it easily, and now this is annoying because I can't go grab the mana tile and play something. And I don't really want to cryogenesis. Now here, if I cryogenesis, which I probably have to do to remove it, I really want a snow chaser. And this is what I was talking about earlier, that I either want only Cloacus or snow chaser because it's more consistent. That it's something like, but I didn't really know what else with. Okay, so I replaced Sojourner because I don't want Kortra when I have a full hand.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And Snow Chaser? No.
No
That's too
luck.
bad. So we overdraw and we hope it's not a tiger. That's the only thing.
How
Okay.
bad is it, do you think, if you're playing Kara and you're on turn 3, turn 4, and you haven't seen a tiger yet? Is that like an absolute disaster for this deck?
Not really. The win condition isn't, well, it is obviously tigers, like it's a win condition. But I think tempo is more important, and that's what I'm more concerned about in this position. That I am somewhat behind in tempo. I do get to grab the mana orb here, which makes me capable of playing like 2 minions. I somewhat play around Marcantor here by displacement. I wanted to play this in this side, on his side, and that's
Get
why I
the
didn't grab
infiltrate.
the orb. Yeah, to get the infiltrate. And see Elkian, which is like, I'm fine with that. Yes, he gets scarred, but it's tempo-wise not very strong. Yeah, one problem here is that he can just like go trade this in, but he doesn't have, it's dispelled, so it doesn't kill my other minions, so that's good. And then he probably got this from Elkian. I don't think he runs this in his deck.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, still, it's a card I have to deal with immediately. If I don't deal with that, I'm dead.
Because it'll just get worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have
So
to agree. Kara can still win even if you don't draw tigers, because you're just going to have bigger and bigger minions in them turn after turn, and you'll eventually outvalue them.
yeah, the Maul here was a pretty good draw because it allows me to deal with the Daigedi quite easily. And I can just trade the Cloaker in the Okean. And now we see, now, well, my start was pretty bad, but like at this point, I pretty much have the board. And okay, I only drew 1 tiger, but oh, here's the second one.
I do have a
I
question
have the
for you
board.
about a choice you made here. One thing I struggle with, being a bit newer to the game, is when should I move my general away, and when should I move my general into them?
I didn't want to go in because Marcantor was a possibility.
So that's like the reason you moved away, because you didn't want to get hit by that war beast.
Yeah, that and against that, I wanna preserve my health because they have like this card that kills you for
Bounded
uh
Life Force?
Yeah, the
that thing.
10-10.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bounded Life Force at 7 mana, it turns your general into a
Oh,
10-10, but all his BBS buffs that he's collected will still be on top of the 10.
yeah. So it's like 12 then. So a 5/8 Primus, pretty nice. Natural selection, pretty sad. But I still like I have Dancing Blades. I have Double Tiger in hand. I was pretty confident I can win here. I don't know exactly how buffed they are, but I think one of them is like a 4 already. So he gets Pandora out here. That's scary. Good thing I have the Ephemeral Shroud to deal with this. Which, yeah, so I have to like play the Dancing Blades to kill that. It's just a very easy turn actually, and the Dancing Blades is pretty buffed as well.
Just Kara things. But yeah, I think that's the main reason you run Shroud over Chromatic Gold in Kara is just because on top of having a Dispel, you're going to have a huge body if you wait enough turns.
Yeah, I mean this is a 3/3 and 3/3. Okay, versus that it doesn't do that much, but versus any other general, it means the general can't punch it. So one buff is already a big deal. And so yeah, this double tiger is just gonna close out the game.
Yeah, I'm sort of seeing that now too. I mean, with that one buff gives him more damage than the chromatic cold does too. So playing that was so much better than a chromatic cold. I really can see that value now.
The only downside being that Shroud doesn't have the reach that Chromatic Cold does, so if you're not close to it, you can't dispel it. So I know some people will run like 2 of each, but it's a preference thing really. It's what you're running into.
I think I have lethal here. I'm pretty
Check
sure
the
I have lethal.
tigers. 5, 9.
Yeah, but only the biggest one counts because the other ones is going to clear the Primus, so my Dancing Blades can go face. So it's like 6 and 7, and then the hero power, so it's lethal.
Aha.
And that's a lot of damage to just be able to put on him there unexpectedly.
Yeah, that's the power of tigers. You just if you can keep them for this, it's amazing. Sometimes you have to play them, but if you can keep them just for burst, it's pretty strong. And so we dealt with Taigedi, and he had a pretty good wall beast, but he after his Taigedi was gone, he kind of lost tempo and never really got it back.
Okay, so how do you feel with that deck against the Magmar matchup?
If I get the tempo, I win most of the time. If I have a bad start, I lose most of the time. And that's pretty much versus every deck. Like the first early turns are so important. Which is kind of with because here I kind of lost tempo at the start, but I was able to get it back, which is kind of rare, I guess. But yeah, it really comes down. If I get a good opening, it's very hard to deal with because you have to take damage just to get the board back, and then you're at 15 health, and I play 2 tigers.
Fair enough. Alright. Game 2, we're going to do a game against the Saurian playing Fae. We're going to see how this goes for you. The Fae matchup. How does that feel for this deck?
There is different. The aggro Fey one is probably disadvantage. Well, because like they are really fast, so I don't really get to use my buff. But if I can get like good blood to use Moles, I can win that one as well. The wall Fey one, that comes down to tigers. If I can use my tigers in the wall Fey one, I win. If I don't, like if I get my tigers too late, I probably lose the wall Fey.
Okay, fair enough. I'm used to playing this matchup from the other side, and I tend to beat Karas if I could just rush them down fast enough.
Yeah, that's the aggro Fey I was thinking about. But Maw and Blood Tear, especially Blood Tear, like is pretty good for aggro Fey. And I don't know if he's going to play aggro Fey, but I guess we're going to see next turn how like Maw and Blood Tear are pretty good against. Oh, this is perfect for Maw and Fey and Blood Tear. He has a lot of snow chasers though. Yeah.
It's very like the Saurian, but not like the aggro Fae decks that I would run. So let's see. Maybe it's not as fast as mine. Maybe it's Wall Fae? Could still be.
So I'm taking the mana tile just to deny him the mana tile. It might be a mistake since he can take the other one, but I was like, if he takes a mana tile now, he has to run away. So. And I get to develop a cloaker, which is good. that wasn't like the main concern.
Playing around Warbird, something I never do. Nice.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, this was the placement I would have chosen without Warbird as well, but I tried to think about that. Also, double Primus is probably really good here. Like I can BBS Primus and then play the other Primus. And if he plays something that I can deal with, I can like Cryogenesis and play the Cloaker or the Chaser I get from it. Okay, so he's gonna use Chromatic Cold. That's fine for me. I'm like, okay, cool. Because I'm gonna drop a full 7 Primus in his face, which he can't deal with then. Well, he could have Tigers.
Yeah, I actually do have a question about that Chromatic Cold. I mean, that seemed very low value to me, just to take away the buff from the Crystal Cloaker. Do you think he was... Why? I mean, did he just do that maybe so he can play into Curve? Like, he knows what he wants to play in the coming turns?
I think he was mostly scared to take 4 damage. Like, he's at 19. If he took 4, he's at 15 health. We see I have a Tiger in hand. I could have another one. Like, I think he just wanted, like, the tempo. He just wanted to get it out without taking, like, too much damage.
You're always
Now, maybe
afraid.
this is maybe a loaded question to ask you, but do you agree with that play?
No, but I know what I had in my hand, and I don't know what he had in his hand, so...
That's very fair.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have done. I understand the feeling of like not wanting to get into Tiger range, but you have to expect that Kara's gonna be running Shield Masters, so I would have saved it.
Yeah, especially in the matchup, I would consider just dispelling somebody who's been buffed 3 times seems like it could be, well, would be better value.
Well, what we
Yeah.
did see was that he did have a Fox in hand, though. So
That
maybe
is true.
he dropped the Chromatic Cold thinking, well, I have Fox, it's fine.
Yeah. He played so many of these little snow chases. Maybe a bit too many. Maybe he should have like replaced it to get something bigger.
Yeah, probably. Because you're just picking them off without any worry at this point, and you're gonna outvalue him.
Yeah, and I have double Tiger in hand.
Ah, the dream.
Hey, I've drawn like 11 cards. I've replaced quite a bit. You should expect me by now to have like at least 1 Tiger, maybe double. So yeah, we see this Snow Chaser, even though it got like pretty good value, like coming back all the time, this turn, well, actually it helps clear it off. But he's at 12 health. I don't know how big my Tigers are exactly, but... Oh, here's a chaser again.
One's about to have 4, the other one's gonna have 5, so... Oh my god.
Hey! So I don't have Lethal Leader, I assume, so... I'm going to play the Sojourner, obviously, and I'm... Like, at this point, I'm gonna run 1 Tiger in, because I have guaranteed Lethal next turn. And I just try to play as defensively as possible, because all I'm scared about is like dying. I have Lethal next turn anyway. This is a misplay though. I'm playing into Warbird.
Yep, I was gonna say.
I should have put the Tiger somewhere else. I was a bit too concerned about my life. Like, I shouldn't be that concerned at 18 health. I should have just put the Tiger where it doesn't die like this. That was a misplay. I do agree with the Sojourner placement though. I think it's fine that takes 2 damage, but the Tiger, no, that was a misplay.
Can I ask why you think that's a good spot for the Sojourner? Just to block out the Snow Chaser?
Yeah, to block the Chaser. Like, my Tigers together do more than 7. I don't know exactly how big they are, but they are definitely more than 7 damage. And he has 7 health. So, if I survive this turn, I win. And so he's going to get me a card. And it's a healing one. Like, it doesn't really matter at this point what he gets.
No, I've realized playing the opposite side of the matchup, if you get this late in the game with Kara, it's just over because you're not going to outvalue them.
Oh. Well, he gets to play his Snow Chaser again.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the Kara Tigers, that Snow Chaser's the MVP of this game. That's a high value minion.
He worked very hard.
So yeah, obviously you play Healing Mystic. It's not really necessary, but you
But
play
it's
all
good
the cards
beating.
you can. Yeah. And we lethal. Maybe I should have been a bit more aggressive because he could have had Healing Mystic, and then it wouldn't have been lethal. But he didn't have it, so good play.
Now, if we pretended for a second that that is what happened, if he did have a healing mystic there, what would you have done about that? If he had healed up and not had
I
to
would have waited a turn. Like, 1 turn means 2 damage because I
you would have
had 2 tigers
BBS'd
in it.
again?
Yeah.
Alright.
We're gonna take the game where you lose to Gumi first, so we can talk about what went wrong. And then we'll
Okay.
do the game where you win against Gumi.
So yeah, playing versus Ambition there versus Lilith, and Lilith likes to swarm the boards with like these little dudes and then buff them and kill you. And the kind of the problem with this deck is you don't have AOE. You might want to add Blistering Scorn actually if you have problems with Lilith on ladder. But yeah, so you don't have AOE. So if they get like all their minions out and you can't kill them and they have their buff thingies, well, you have a problem. And since I lost, I assume that's going to happen here.
Yeah, the strategy against Swarm is often you clear their minions or you die. Pretty simple. But if you can get all the Wraithlings out of the way, they're not that scary.
Yeah, if you can get everything out, then it's completely fine. But if you can't, it's a problem. I do get a good start though, like... Oh, he has a blood, yeah, that kinda counters my start. Yay, the emote comes out, correct.
Important.
So yeah. We see here already, like... He has 3 minions on the board, I can deal with 1 of them. Like... In another matchup, I probably would play Primus over this. I play the Snow Chaser there to block him from going to the mana tile and ramping up to 6 mana too easily. And like, okay, I don't get the buff, but what does the attack really do? Like, his minions have 1 health. It's not like I need 4 attack.
We're gonna see what he does. I can see that being an issue though against Swarm is because your minions are slower, maybe you have a hard time killing off all the Swarm. Oh, but you have a lot of opening gambits.
Yeah, I have a lot of opening gambits, but like an opening gambit doesn't deal with the 5 minions he puts on the boards this turn.
Yeah.
Whatever. Oh, okay, so here's a Soul Grimoire.
Oh, this is gonna hurt.
And he kills a lot. And I can't deal with it. So this is what went wrong this game. He had a Soul Grimoire and I couldn't deal with it.
Yeah, that is an incredible amount of value right away.
Yeah, so the thing is, I need to keep the board clean so that he cannot do that. So maybe I should have played the Primus Shieldmaster, but then he would have just swamped and played the Soul Grimoire later and then run all the little dudes into Primus. So I actually like have to go in to get a ping off, but I'm at 11 health. If he has a way to deal with the Primus Shieldmaster, I'm dead.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah.
Sacrifice one of his minions to kill that and just hit you for lethal.
Or
Yeah.
your
A lot of
Lord will do
options.
it.
Like everything.
There it is.
Hey. Okay, so I couldn't deal with it, and he had the buff thing, and like that's a problem that I cannot deal with stuff like this. But yeah, there is a way around it if you get the cards, obviously, and that is keep the board clean. If he can't play cards, like if his board is clean, then Soul Grimoire is shit because, well, he doesn't do anything. So that's the key: get good cards so that you can keep the board clean.
Okay, so let's do the game where you win against Gumi.
So yeah,
I see.
where I did that.
Oh, he's playing the same deck here?
Yeah, he's playing the same deck. Oh, she actually. But
playing against Gumi, same deck, same person. But this time, we're gonna beat her up. Because we're gonna be able to clear board.
Yeah.
That first game looked very grim. I'm curious to see how you can turn that around. It seemed like the decks were not working in your favor in this matchup at all.
Well, they really rely on getting some kind of buff up. So, I mean, if I can prevent that. Also, Sojourner is really good against the Vision because I have a lot of 1-1s. I'm like, run all the 1-1s in. So I'm not killing the jacks, because I want to kill the mini jacks with my 2-1 with my blood here. That's why I'm keeping it here. And okay, he has all these cards on the board. But
Okay.
yeah, Sojourner is really good against this deck because they're all 1-1s. Like, that's 4 cards because he lures it. I get so much value with Sojourner. That's cool. So yeah, he got me in the corner. But hold them beyond. I'm not in the corner anymore. Like in a second.
Yeah,
Hey.
I'm confused about the choice of that demonic lore.
Well, the thing is, he can always choose to go back, but he can't really choose to go towards me. So that's why I didn't want to put it like here, because I can like push him back to his side, and then the thing is faster. But I mean,
I mean, do you think that demonic lore in and of itself was questionable, or do you think that that was a good card to play in that situation?
I would have kept it, I think, for Primus Shieldmaster or something big.
Mhm.
But I
I
mean,
mean,
I
you
guess
were
he didn't have a way to deal with it.
yeah. Unluckily for Gumi, you had the Hearth Sister, and it didn't even slow that guy down one turn.
Yeah, that's like kind of bad. Like, also, notice how the blood here is like completely out of range because, well, I'm scared of of like cards that like the Soul Grimoire that we saw earlier.
Scorn is gonna do some damage. But I think
Uh,
you're still okay.
yeah, he doesn't have any buffs up. I'm at 21 health. I don't really care. So here I have to kill this one so I can get Dancing Blades onto the Scorn. And at this point, he has no board, so he can't use his buff cards. So at this point, I'm pretty good.
You
Like
can't just run
usually,
his whole board into for Grimoire
yeah,
now.
yeah. I like here I run a 3-1 into his 1-1, which is like horrible value, right? But I'm just scared of his 1-1s because they can become pretty scary fast. Okay, so he uses another Scorn, but it's not very great. I can just like kill it, play Primus, and that's turn.
You have the board at this point. It's not that hard to hold it, so you're in a good spot.
Yeah, and even if I lose the board somehow, I have double tiger. A very important thing.
What are the tigers at now? 4 and 4.
Maybe I should have played the Primus 1-up to play around Dancing Blades, but I mean Dancing Blades wouldn't even have done that much. Oh, Jack's True Sight.
Ooh.
Now that's interesting. Good thing is the Jack's True Sight, I don't care about it. Because I have lethal. But it would have been a problem if I didn't have lethal, because I had no way to deal with. Again, I have no way to deal with Swarm with this deck, so I had no way to deal with the Jack True Sight. But yeah, turns out Double Tiger is a pretty good response.
Yeah, the bane of all Vanar players is always Jack's True Sight, unless we can just kill you.
There we go. All have Scorn, but I don't have it in the deck. But I mean, if you have troubles with this specific matchup, you can add Scorn in the deck. It's a good card.
Okay, we actually played through all the replays that we wanted to.
So you can just pick one. You
Just
can
pick
pick one
one?
I lose as well if you want.
Okay, you played against Macer. This seems interesting.
Yeah, he challenged me. It is this deck. He wrecked me with a Golem Vitruvian. It is interesting. You can definitely watch
Golem Vitruvian. Alright. I don't know if that's a
it.
matchup anyone's gonna see on ladder, but I'm curious.
It, it was awful. Uh, don't be baited by the silver. This guy is one of the best players. He just didn't really play this season.
Hmm. Yeah,
He's ranked
Macer's
20.
pretty well known.
Yeah, he's a pretty good player. Uh, so yeah. I mean, turn 2, I'm in a huge advantage already.
Hmm. Golem Vitruvian. So,
So this, and I have no way to deal with it, which is a problem. So here, maybe I made a misplay here. I played this here the way I usually play it, but this allows a very strong turn for him. And that is
oh jeez.
this with a first wish.
Yeah, one of the big issues is with Kara, you gotta wait till the late game. If he's dropping 4-9s in turn 2,
It's a 5-10.
oh my god, you might not make it to the late game.
Yeah. Also, yeah. Like at this point, I basically lost already. I don't really know what to do here.
Well,
I'm going to sister the golem away and go like A, but it's not very far.
and more of them are gonna be coming because what is this card called? I'm so not used to seeing it. The Metallurgist is still here, that's it.
Yeah, it's still alive. So I choose here to attack his face because I realize at this point I'm not going to win true value. I just need to kill him fast. Yeah, it's already pretty grim.
Well, that's handy. If you can get him to start reacting to what you're putting down, as opposed to you reacting to his giant golems, maybe you can pull it back.
Yeah, but
But how much removal are we actually running? You got 2 foxes, I think?
yeah, and cryogenesis doesn't really work.
Yeah.
Yeah, so is your best bet here trying to like just play around that and kind of run and kite away from it? Is that what we're maybe gonna
Yeah, I want to run away from the golem somehow, but I also want to be in his face because I can't just run away from him because then I don't win. Because, well, look, he has a giant ass golem already.
See,
Uh,
the way I'd play it, I'd probably just like try to keep my minions and myself away from him until I can draw aspect to the fox.
that I was maybe an idea. Yeah, now I'm like,
oh man, Inner
what the-
Oasis. Okay, concede.
Yeah, pretty much conceit worthy.
Yeah, the issue
Hey.
now is that you just don't have enough removal in your deck to deal with all these things.
I mean, would you say that's just kind of this deck's weakness? Is that if somebody does this, you can't answer it with this deck?
Yeah, it's the opening in this deck is very important. Like you have to get good draws in the opening, otherwise, well,
So
Well,
would you say
I've-
if on that like turn 2, 3, if you're controlling tempo, you're in good shape to win? If you're
Yeah.
behind at that point, you're probably screwed.
yeah, definitely, and that's true with every deck, but especially with this deck. Also, I might have misplayed here. Maybe I should have moved my general 1 down because now his golem can go attack me. So that might have been a misplay.
What's this value thing everyone's talking about? Oh boy, how do you explain value?
It's when you cards do more than their cards, I guess, and
When you spend less resources to do an equal amount or more than what they're doing for spending more resources. And if those resources could be minions on the board, it could be cards in your hand, or it could be total mana spent. Those are the kind of the different ways to look at value. Is that a good explanation?
yeah, and like the other thing there's people calling about tempo, and tempo is like trying to do all the things fast. So with value you try to do a lot with the same resources, and with tempo you try to do all these things fast. So, yeah, often you have to choose like, okay, do I go for a play that will get me in a very good shape next turn, or do I go for a play that will allow me to do something amazing when the game's almost over? He has lethal here, if I recall correctly.
Five,
Yeah, he has
six.
lethal.
Oh,
Yeah,
jeez.
this is it. Okay.
All right. The good news is, it isn't a deck you're gonna run into on ladder every day.
I mean, it was fun. Macer is a cool guy. It's always fun to play against him.
All right. Deck loses to Golem Vitruvian. Fair enough.
It isn't really made to play against Golem Petruvian, to be honest.
Let's see. We can pull up, I think, one more replay, and then drop. If you're feeling adventurous, we can try and do the coaching like we usually do.
Yeah, after one more replay, we'll try and do 2 or 3 games of that if the patch doesn't cut us off.
Okay.
It's easy. Pick a game. Any game you like.
We can go versus Lanadol Rage. That was another Lilith, so where I lost because I couldn't deal with the swarm. So another game where it's like, hey, you guys, you need to clear the board at all times because otherwise you have a problem.
Important life lessons. The patch is soon. The patch is soon. We're actually worried the patch might cut us off midstream, so we're trying to get in as many games as we can before that happens.
So, yeah, I've got a good 2-drop to open again. That's nice. He has the shiny Lilith, so he's pretty good. And hey, hold and behold, there's a lot of minions. And I have a fox to clear things, except that doesn't really work against Lilith.
Yeah, it's a card I would throw back right away. It's just not gonna help you here.
Yeah, I throw away Primus Fissure because it's going to do less.
Fair.
So silencing the Jaxi.
Trying to get a bunch of bodies on the board.
Yeah, I just cannot deal with the mini jacks as well. And so I go to the center here, like control the board somewhat.
Oh, that's true. Without Chromatic Cold, unless you want to use a Cryogenesis on Mini Jaxi, which hurts, you don't really have any reach in the deck.
I have Blood Tears.
Okay.
And I have Fox, but like they don't really deal with the mini jacks.
You don't really want to Fox a Mini Jaxi. It doesn't feel great.
It's like there's not a lot of jacks on the ladder, honestly, so I don't really feel the need to put anything against it. And here we see why at all times you try to clear the board, because otherwise, well, this happens. I have a Fox to deal with it, but like Fox doesn't clear the board. Fox just does Fox things. I do get a good Sojo here. Like, how is he going to deal with the Sojourner without me drawing a lot of cards?
So you have the opportunity.
Yeah, the one problem is if he has like something else that triggers with that wish or whatever it's called.
Death Watch.
That thing, I hate it.
I sense you don't play much Abyssian.
No, really, no. Well, I do play Cassiva, sorry. I do play Cassiva, but that's like creep.
Yeah, Lilith hasn't been
different
around
kind.
for a while now, but I'm realizing it's making a comeback and everyone's playing it, which is weird because everyone's running Scorn. But
Hey, and here is the second. And well, the good thing is I draw some cards with the Sojourner.
If you're running into this on ladder, you might want to consider running Scorn. Or 3.
Yeah. Yes, that's the thing. I do have an answer, but like, what kind of answer is that, really? I'm turning a 3/3 into a 3/3. Whoo, value. So yeah, I have to play the Blood Tear, and I want to play like the Blazehound. That's why I didn't go Bloodborne spell here. And I'm really scared of him having, well, one of these buff cards, so I ran away.
Crescendo would do a ton of damage. Grimoire would do a
Yeah.
ton of damage.
A ton is the right amount.
Unfortunately, if it's Grimoire, I think you're still in trouble, because he can use 3 Wraithlings to kill the 4-3, and then come hit you.
Or just the hound.
Mm-hmm.
Of the wolf.
Oh boy.
Hey!
There's the prediction. There you go.
I'm sorry. I may have caused this. I jinxed it.
No, you didn't. We played this before the thing began.
Not right, not my fault.
He probably should have used like Wraithlings to throw into it. It would have buffed it more. It might even have been lethal if he throws.
Yeah,
some
he could have
Wraithlings.
killed one more Wraithling and gotten lethal.
Yeah. So that's a misplay from his part, but
Probably
mean-
not going to be too detrimental.
You're at 2 health. I don't think. I
hey,
don't think
hey,
that'll do it.
I have the healing mystic.
Well, you could have 2 tigers in hand. In which case you still wouldn't have enough damage, but still.
I like. Okay, here I misplayed. I should have done 1 more damage to him. Oh no, I actually played a Sojourner, so it wasn't a misplay then. So I'll play Sojourner because it has more health than the healing mystic, I guess. It doesn't really matter what I play because he has a Shadow Dancer. So let's see. Yes, I clicked
Yeah.
concede fast enough. So, yeah, if there's a lot of that thing on ladder, play this Rings Gone. But I mean, that's we picked those out. I think those are like the only Lilith games I actually have with this deck. The other games are not as interesting.
I feel that I should show this. Easy. Like, they are mostly wins, it's just that every time you hit a Lilith, it just goes downhill. This is another faction, skip this.
Yeah, that's Lina,
Bunch
and
of
here are
wins.
some.
Bunch of wins. Overall, it went pretty well.
Yeah, I think I've like 60% win rate with it with this deck, which is good. With a, I mean, I think it's good.